Well, I have just taken possession of a couple of rather interesting looking boxes. They are the boxes, and I'm rather hoping that within them will be, I think there's bulbs in the first one. And Purdy wants to know what's going on. Hello, Purdy. I think the first one has got sort of wild bulbs for my orchard, and the second one I'm hoping is a glass crown with a quilt, which is to go on the beehive. Anyway, I'll soon find out because I'm going to open them. Do join me on another edition of A Priest Abroad. Hello and good afternoon, and welcome to A Priest Abroad. Today I want to show you two new acquisitions in my beekeeping odyssey. They are sort of transparent crowns, I think, polycarbonate, and one is glass, and you can therefore see through them into the hive and see what's going on without disturbing them very much. One is known as a polycarbonate quilt, so it also has the effect of keeping the bees warm when it's cold. Similarly with the glass crown, they allow the bees to come up through them too, but I've also put on a contraption whereby the bees can go down but they can't come up. Principally that's used later on in the season when I shall be putting on a super with honey frames, but I'll explain more of that in a later episode. But today I really just want to show you these two transparent crowns. Compare the two. One is glass, one is a sort of plastic, I suppose, polycarbonate. I suppose we used to call that perspex. So do come along with me to my small orchard at the other end of the house, and we'll see how we get on with them. I'm hoping that the bees will be fairly lively. It's been extremely cold this morning, but it's hotted up a bit, and I think we're sitting now at about 14 degrees. It should be 15 ideally, I think, really, before getting in there, but we'll go and have a look anyway. Do come along. Hello, welcome to the orchard. I'm now going to show you those two crown boards that I promised. First up, the polycarbonate crown, quilt, some people call them. And here it is. You'll notice there's a hole in the bottom for the bees to get through. And simply this is put on top of either the super or below the super as a means of looking in and seeing what the hive's doing without, I suppose, upsetting them too much. And also this provides a certain amount of warmth. The polycarbonate ones are considered something like 30 times, or was it 300 times more hardy than the glass ones. Anyway, I bought one of those and I'll show you the glass one. Now this, well, it weighs a lot more. This is the glass one. I've already put in the well, that hole there is called a porter hole. That's where the bees go in and out. But this contraption allows them to go in one way and not out the other. But that's principally for when you're gathering honey, because you want to empty your supers of all the bees, so you can pull the frames out, which hopefully are laden, heavy laden with honey, and you haven't got to deal with the bees then Apparently you can blow them off, you can brush them off, you can shake them off. But if you put one of these on, apparently after about 24 hours they'll all have gone back into the brood and won't have come back. So that's a glass one, so I'm quite thrilled with that. I'm not going to even attempt to put them on now because the bees are extremely active. So I'm going to go and put my suit on and see what's underneath. There's one other thing I've done since I last spoke to you. You may remember this. This was the feeder, and inside was a syrup I made on one of my episodes. What I've subsequently discovered is it has to be consistently over 15 degrees centigrade for the bees to be even bothered about syrup. So at the moment they're still tucking into their fondant. Those of you who don't know who fondant are, I think you put it on Christmas cakes. But they're happily tucking into that, but they won't imbibe this liquefied sugar until it's a lot warmer. So effectively it was a waste of time putting it in there. But I'm taken it out as it's doing no good. But more importantly, I've also been told that it can ferment and go mouldy and affect the hive adversely. I'm not going to throw it on the ground. I'm actually going to empty it nearer my home, and therefore it can't cause any damage to any of my colony. So I've taken this out. I'll be back shortly in my bee suit. Giving the bees a little smoke before I take the top off. As you can probably see inside, there's some fondant and there's some bees doing a bit of clearing up because I noticed there were some dead bees earlier, but we don't mind that. I'm going to take off this super, which does have some bees in, not anymore. I'm going to give these chaps a bit of a smoke. See if I can encourage them to leave the fondant. Right, let's see if we can get this crown board off and see what's going on underneath. Better give them some smoke. Don't want to encourage them to come up. They're not absolutely teeming at the top. Gosh, I don't know. I'm burning, but it doesn't half stink. Right, I'm now going to have a little look what's going on. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. This is the first time I've ever done this. I'm going to take a look at some of these frames. Right, absolutely nothing going on that one at all. That's the outside one, so we know that they're not particularly overcrowded, I wouldn't have thought. Let's have a look at the second frame. Let's see what's going on. Well, they don't seem particularly glued in. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at here. Lots of empty. Right, let's have a look at the second one. Nothing going on that one either. The other one's looking a little bit more busy. We're now seeing what I believe is capped brood. That's the so there are people growing in there. I think they're honeybee. Right, that's 4 frames down. I can see honeycomb. I think it's honeycomb anyway. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Getting near the middle now. The queen may be in one of these. Again, cap brood. Now that's a different colour, so maybe the other chaps were drones. Yeah, I think they probably were the darker ones, not sure. Right. Doesn't seem to be much going on in the way of honey production. Oh yes, there's capped honey there, I think, or it's you know, it's been
whatever they do. Got a feeling the queen will be in there somewhere buzzing around. I'm looking for eggs, but my eyesight isn't good enough. Anyway, cat brood means there must be something going on. I say cat brood, I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. The middle of the frames, of course, is where the queen normally lives. There's something going on. I think that must be honey. Doesn't look like brood. I think you've got a mixture of honey and brood there going on. It's fascinating. I've never opened a hive up in my life before. But they're drawing the hexagons very well. Are they hexagons or octagons? And then we go to here, of course, where nothing going on at all in these frames. So the colony is young. Oh, that's interesting. Nothing on that one. What's going on this one? Oh God, that's absolutely full of honey. I think it was probably put in that way when it was, gosh, it gives you an idea how much honey weighs. So that's food for them. So there is food. Right, I think what I'll do now is put my glass top on, or no, I think I'll put the polycarbonate top on, which means I can then look in future into this, into these hives. Well, they seem all very happy, but my eyesight isn't great, so I can't quite see if there are eggs. But I'm going to look for eggs and larvae probably next week, and we'll see how we get on. But I'm quite pleased that I haven't run away in fright like a big girl's blouse. But I have to say, it does get the adrenaline running somewhat, but they do seem fairly calmish. So, carefully not crushing any bees. We put this on, and you get the idea that you can have a look, and this keeps them warm apparently. I'm hoping that this will be okay. There's only one hole where there's two in the other, so I'm now a bit confused. You don't want condensation.